the intro thing. Welcome to folks. If you haven't been here before, we're Resonym. Resonym is a indie board game company that makes interesting board games, and we're here joined by some extra special guests, some designers of much repute. Do you want to go around and introduce people?
Yeah. Yes. Who should we introduce first? I'm Larkins. Hello. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Oh, you're silent. You're quietly telling us.
I was muted.
Ah.
All right. I got a button on my mic. Hello. I was just saying, I was about to drink my tea. I was like, oh, don't make me go first. Okay. Yeah, I'll do it.
Sorry.
No, it was great. My name is Emma Larkins. I am a board game designer, creator of Ban and All Artichokes, And Then We Died, Heart Catchers, and other games in progress. I also host a podcast, Ludology, with Gil. Although shortly we'll be having new hosts replacing me. So happy and sad times. I also do a lot of streaming. I do board game news and run a playtest community, digital playtest community on Discord.
Yeah. Yoo-hoo! Thank you. Thank you for coming. I want to know more about your playtest community. I haven't been anyway, and that would be fun to know.
Yeah.
And do. All right. Shall we introduce Gil Hova?
I guess, sure, if it's my turn. My name's Gil. I design and publish games as Formal Ferret Games. My games include The Networks, Wordsy, High Rise, Bad Medicine, the forthcoming RPG Weird Stories, a bunch of secret projects I haven't been able to talk about. As Emma said, I am a co-host of Ludology. It's going to be very bittersweet to see Emma go, but I'm sure she's in for some big stuff in the future. I used to run a playtest group, but I had to step down just because I've been working on so many different things that I needed to drop something, and it's in really good hands. So there's a bunch of really good playtest groups you can join that are online and virtual, and they can help you with things like mastering Tabletop Simulator, which is not the easiest thing to master. So that's about all I have for now.
Excellent. And shall I go on to our special guest, Sharang Biswas?
So I'm Sharang Biswas, and I'm a game designer, writer, and interactive artist. I do a wide variety of things. I'm also a professor at Fordham currently, and I am the game artist in residence at the Museum of the Moving Image in New York. You may know me from titles such as Honey and Hot Wax, an anthology of erotic art games, or Strange Lust, Strange Loves, an anthology of erotic interactive fiction, or what else? Things I've done are not erotic. Oh, I'm on the design team for Avatar: The Last Airbender, the RPG coming from Magpie Games. That's the opposite of erotic. And other...
It depends.
It is intended to be the opposite of erotic.
There we go.
And yeah,
life finds a way.
I'm not. Please, Magpie, don't hate me for saying any of this. But yeah, I also write for games. I've written for D&D. I've written for Spire. I've written for a lot of other indie role-playing games, and I focus on I focus on analog role-playing games, LARPs, that kind of thing. And I was one of Mary's students way back when.
Oh, yeah. Now you come back as a guest professor. It's nice. All right, and Max and I are here to present this Ghostwriter business. We've got lots of interesting things to tell you about this little game. It's a party game involving the spirit world.
And generally, the plan for this evening is we're going to hang out with Emma, Sharang, and Gil. We're going to play some Ghostwriter, and then we're also going to interview them and ask them hard questions about games and game design. Or just give them a chance to...
Okay, Gil and Emma's already asked me a lot of hard questions about games and game design. So
Sharang handled them all really well, as did Mary, because you've both been on Ludology.
Yeah, that was fun. And we're here promoting, of course, our Kickstarter game, Ghostwriter, that we are currently raising some funds for, and we want to also promote the community and get together and uplift each other's games and voices and make a better network for indie game people.
Yes.
That's why we're here together. Yes. Yes. So, Max, you love, among many things, the thing I think I can say, knowing you a long time, you love the most is the spiel.
I like doing the spiel, yeah. So I'll do the spiel for Ghostwriter, and we'll start a game of Ghostwriter. And in the meantime, folks in chat, start dropping questions if you have any questions for Gil, Sharang, and Emma. And we'll get a chance to answer those in between games, I think is the plan. Sound good?
Sounds great.
Excellent.
All right.
Going into spiel, everyone. Hang on.
Let's do the spiel. So, Ghostwriter is a game about contacting spirits. We're going to split into 2 teams. Each team is going to have 1 spirit who's trying to communicate from the world beyond, and the rest of the team members will be mediums who are trying to prove that they are the best mediums by being able to communicate with those spirits. Maybe now's the time to show the game.
In the game box.
There you go. That's an
We
easy
would
way to
have
do this.
a pad of paper that looks like
Yeah.
this. Ooh.
And we're going to be doing the digital version of that for now. But the way the game works is each spirit is going to know the secret object. There's only one. Both spirits know the same object. They win by communicating that secret object to their teammates first. The first medium to guess the secret object wins for their team. The trick is there are some secret objects that we might see. The reason the game is challenging is because each turn the mediums are going to send some questions to the spirits to ask about the secret object. So, for example, who dislikes it, or what color is it, or something like that. Or strangely, if it was an animal, what animal would it be? The spirits are going to write their answer on the pad, but they're only going to write the start of their answer, and everyone will see that answer. So the trick to the game is cutting off your teammate by saying silencio, Suki's favorite word, which stops the spirit will begin writing the answer. When you think you know what your answer is, you're going to say silencio to cut your spirit off. This is important because everyone gets to see the answer, so you don't want the other team getting too much information. But the question is unique to your team. Only your team gets to see the question. So you are hopefully going to know what the answer is way before the opponents say it, or before the opponents can figure it out. That'll become quite clear as we start playing. Let's get our teams made. I think, Mary, do you and I want to be the spirits for the first game?
Mary, you're muted.
Oh.
That's because I'm a spirit.
Here. So I'll be the spirit on the sun team. Mary can be the spirit on the moon team. And then Sharang.
That's a special effect. That's scary special effect. All right. This is so exciting.
All right, I'm ready.
So go ahead and everyone click on your role in the game lobby.
Oh, what's my role? Oh, my role is medium. What team am I on?
Choose one.
Oh, choose one. Oh my gosh. Okay. Try that one.
I used to own a locket in the shape of a sun, so I'm gonna pick sun team.
All right.
When I was a kid, I thought crucifixes looked really cool, and I told my grandma, "Get me a crucifix." She's like, "No, only Christians wear it." So she got me a sun instead, but it was really pokey, and so I never wore it, and she got very hurt, and I was sad.
Oh. But a crucifix would have been just as pokey.
I didn't think. I just thought they looked
I
cool
think they
because of the movies
smoothed
I
them.
watched.
They smoothed the edges.
There's a pokey metal sun. The rays were very pokey.
Unless you're in one of those groups, you know.
So Emma, who are you joining with?
Where do I see my role?
You have to choose it. You have to choose medium between either the sun or the moon team.
Okay. So we just pick any side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay, good.
And more heads are better than one, so I think that would be great for y'all, or good for our team. Fantastic. All right.
We'll work hard. We'll work hard.
We're gonna do our best.
I've got ectoplasm building up here.
Gil's actually two-headed, so
It'll be great.
It's my first time playing, so I can't promise anything. We'll see. I might be zero-headed for this game.
take some bad medicine, Gil. That was when I first met you. I played that game.
That's right, yes. At 20-Sided Store.
Yep.
Mhm.
Aw.
So mediums, now is the time to probably close the Twitch stream if you have it open, because in chat our chat will be playing along and they will be guessing. So you don't want to give away too many things that way. We're also about to show what the object is. So if you have the stream going, definitely pause it at least.
Okay, I've switched away from the Twitch stream.
All right. So Mary and I are now choosing the first object.
Oh boy. Let's.
I'm thinking number 6. I like number 6.
I like them all for various reasons. 6.
Wait, I can see questions at the bottom, but not.
Yes, you can't see this because we are spirits in the underworld.
Oh, you both. Yeah, you're picking the object, and it'll be the same one. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Sorry.
That's okay. No. There. You
We
have
now
never
chosen
played
our
this
secret
game.
object. All right. So we've now chosen our secret object, and the Sun team always goes first.
Sweet.
On your turn,
We
the
chose
mediums
correctly.
make the choice. Oh yeah, we get to go first. The mediums get to make this choice. So Sharang and Emma, this is your choice collectively.
Okay.
With the same questions in your hand, you're going to either choose to ask a question in which you'll get an answer and get some information about the secret object, or try to guess the object, which is going for the win. I don't recommend going for the win on your very first. No information.
And I won't get to see the question, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
So, do we discuss this, or does Emma pick a question, then I pick a question? What should we do?
Yeah, so you actually do get to send 2 questions over me, and I'm going to choose which one to answer. So you can each do one if you want, or you can collectively discuss. Obviously, don't give away what question you're choosing.
Well, just the numbers, yeah.
But you can the numbers, yeah.
Yeah. Emma, would you prefer to discuss, or would you prefer for us to be in our ivory towers?
Oh.
Summoning spirits from towers.
We can discuss a little bit.
Cool.
I kind of like 5.
Okay.
Pretty descriptive. But we can each send over a different one, right? So
Yeah. I kind of like 7 because I kind of want to just hear that from our medium.
Yeah. So you want to send over those 2?
Yeah.
I guess to be over,
Okay, so I will click on 5 and 7. Are we agreed?
Yeah.
Okay, we're peer-reviewed necromancers, so.
And now the spirit
5.
will just pick one of those to answer, and you'll be able to see which one.
Oh wait, that was the wrong one.
Was it the wrong one?
Well, you'll get a chance to send the other one.
The number is changed.
I think you sent over 6 and 7.
Did I? I'm so sorry.
That's okay. It's fine.
You can do 5 next turn. All right. So I've been presented with these 2 questions. I like these questions. I don't know if I have an answer for one of them.
You're only answering one question, right, Max?
Yeah. So I'm going to be choosing one. Then they'll get to see which one it is, but you will not. And then I'll
they
begin
can
to
see
answer
it.
the question.
They can see it by there's a little button up on the top, show past questions. And so
As soon as
their
I
team
click.
can see their own questions, but not us. We're just kind of like getting ready for the seance here. We've got candles.
We're 2 mediums passing in the night.
So I've chosen which question I'm going to answer. Emma and Sharang, go ahead and show past questions so you see which one I'm answering.
Okay. Sharang, you were correct. The numbers did change, so I got confused.
Oh, okay.
And I was also looking at this like, oh wait, which one did I choose? I forgot instantly.
No, I felt bad because I didn't want to be like the one that got sent is the one I picked, and the one you picked is the one that didn't send. I didn't want to do that.
All right, this one's good anyways. I love this one. All right.
Emma is ready for this game with the stars.
Yeah, the
Dress
thematic
for it,
here.
yes.
Fun, team, fun. There you go.
It is great.
Astronomical.
All right. So here's how the answering works. I'm going to begin to type the answer to this question. It can be multiple words. It can be a single word. It can be a made-up word. anything I think you are going to be able to get information out of. As soon as you think you know what I'm typing, either of you can shout silencio, and I will stop typing. You want to do this early so that Gil doesn't get any extra information. Ready?
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to do it slowly, and I'm going to say the letters out loud as I do so.
And you're typing it in the board, right?
Yep, it should appear
Okay.
for you as I do.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
C.
But we don't know which question you picked, do we?
You can click on show past questions.
Oh, sorry. I see. Show past questions. Okay, great.
Okay,
So
cool. Now you-
start over, Max.
S, C, R, E.
Silencio.
Okay. And now here's where in real life you could write little notes to each other to talk about what you think it is. I would recommend you can DM each other in Discord if you'd like, or use the guest chat. Perhaps Gil, make sure that you're not getting notifications for guest chat.
Yeah, we're using guest chat 2 is what we're assigned by tech.
Okay, I
Okay,
don't think I'm getting notifications for it. Let me
Perfect.
I'm not,
prove that.
so it's fine.
Notification settings.
Emma, can you see guest text
Only
2?
mesh. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
cool.
So now it's your turn, Gil. Submit those
All right.
2 questions to Mary when you're ready.
Oh, I asked 2 questions as well.
Every
Oh, very
round
good.
it's always 2 questions.
Okay,
You asked
so
2 of me, and that team asked 2 of Max, because we
Yes.
are beyond.
Yes. All right, I've asked 2 questions.
I'm so excited.
Me too. I go. Okay, I am going to answer this one.
Whew.
There it is. Okay,
All right.
got it.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
S T R A T
Silencio.
Huh. That's a good clue, Mary. All right, back to the Sun Team's turn. It goes
Wait,
real
does
fast.
Max see our questions also?
Well, I know what the object is, so it's pretty easy for me to figure out what that was.
Got it.
That
Okay.
said,
yeah.
I can't. I'm not allowed to actually give information to my team.
But it's
about it.
it's useless that he knows anything because
Yeah.
he cannot be any more of a clue giver.
Yes.
Emma and Sharang, whenever you're ready, send me
Okay, so
another
do we
couple
pick
of
2
questions.
new questions?
Yep.
Okay, so Emma, what are you feeling?
I kind of like 5, although I want to do just the
5
toughest ones.
Yeah, 5 might be either super helpful or super unhelpful, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't we do it this way? Why don't you click it so that I don't make that mistake again, yeah?
Yeah.
So click
Oh.
5, and then
Actually,
we'll
no,
click the
wait.
next
I
yeah.
kind of like 2.
2. What?
No.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Let's do 2.
Okay.
So you
I'll-
click 2.
Yep.
Okay, and then the numbers have changed, so
Yeah.
we'll do it. I think that's easier. So I think the new 5 might be good.
Oh, that could go
That
a lot
could
of
be-
different ways.
Right? It could be funny if anything.
Yeah, I think that's funny. I like that. Yeah.
Okay, so I will do that one. Okay, Max, we
Oh
are
boy. Oh boy.
Yes, we picked correctly. You've chosen wisely.
Do you think we played to win? No, we played to embarrass our ghosts.
Oh my gosh, yes. That's Team Sun over here.
Can you imagine the mediums being like, let's see how we can embarrass our ghosts in the best way possible? Like, imagine Whoopi Goldberg being like, ooh, how do I embarrass you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's kind of like Ghostbusters, though.
To be fair, yeah.
Mhm.
Right? Didn't they do ridiculous things and kind of harass our hero?
Okay, I think I'm gonna do this one.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, I think I've got attacked. Let's see how this works. You ready, mediums?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
See which question I'm answering?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. C A R E F.
Silencio.
Hmm.
Now, if you think you know the object, you can guess on your turn. As we go forward, there are some spaces with eyeballs on them. And the eyeball space, when you get to that space, the first thing you can do on either side is ask for one more letter in any of the words.
Oh.
Oh, very nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, let's talk briefly about guessing. If you thought you know what the secret object was, you would agree with your other fellow mediums to spend your turn guessing. Then the medium will write one of the mediums will write the first letter of their guess in the next space on the board. We will then the spirit will then either knock on the table to indicate that it's correct, or say to indicate that it's incorrect. If you get it right, you go for the second letter in your guess, and repeat until either you guess the object correctly and win, or get any letter wrong, at which point we'll cut you off, and that's the end of the turn.
What if somebody makes a typo?
There have been misspellings.
Oh. I'm gonna be so stressed out.
Okay, well, we'll take some time. We'll take some time.
Okay. But I'm not ready to guess yet though. So
Okay.
I'm going to send because it's my turn to send questions, right?
That's
It
right.
is.
All right. I'm going to ask that question, and I'm going to ask that question.
I'll bet chat can figure out what your question from last round was. It was a really good clue that Mary gave.
Oh. You wonder why ghosts make that sound?
Because they're excited.
Because they're thinking.
They're thinking, oh my god, how do I describe this? Let's do the sound effects. All right. I want to give a shout out to Oliver Akins, one of our fab friends here on Twitch, who was the author of this awesome digital version that we're playing right now.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
It's very helpful and very user friendly and cool. Yeah.
It's so much nicer
yeah.
than Tabletop Simulator.
This game would be tough in Tabletop Simulator.
Oh,
Yeah.
This
we've
game
done it.
was tough in Tabletop Simulator.
Yes.
Okay, are you ready, Gil?
I am as ready as I'm going to be.
All right. And I'm starting C. A. S. E.
Oh.
So the
When
period.
we put a period.
Yeah, that she got to the end of her clue. She's got nothing.
Wow.
else to say.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So full stop means that's the end. Okay, good.
Okay. All right. I was expecting more letters.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Sun Team, give me some questions.
Quick question. What do the mediums do if they don't know or they don't have an answer?
Yes,
Oh,
sometimes
what-
there are things like everything, nothing.
If
Those
we
have
have
been-
to, we could type something like not applicable, although it
Oh,
doesn't.
okay.
Not great for your team if you do.
Right,
But
right.
we did not introduce this rule. Once per game, you can exchange your questions.
Yep. In the bottom right corner, you should have a trash can that'll throw away all your questions. and get
Oh,
new
so if we're
ones.
like, oh, we're super
If you're
close
really
and none of
stuck.
these questions are good. Okay, great. Okay.
Do you always get at least 2 questions no matter number of players?
Yep. No matter the number of players, it's always 2 questions.
Okay,
Okay.
that makes a lot more sense because you kind of have a choice for that.
So I kind of like. I know you liked what's currently number 4 before. I think that might actually be useful.
Yeah.
If it's not, our ghost just won't pick it, right?
Yeah,
I'll pick
yeah.
the other one. Yeah.
Sure. You want to go ahead and pick that one?
I'll pick number 4. I will click now. Okay. And what do you
Okay.
think?
Oh boy.
I kind of like number 1.
Yeah. Wait. Let's look at the new one. Oh, whoa. Number 6 is wild. Yeah. Okay. If you like number 1, I think that's that. Yeah, because we're. Yeah. Okay. Good.
Oh, damn
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Gil, did you get it?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Well, when
Wait.
someone jumps from their chair with an expletive, you wonder what the aha moment is.
I don't know. Maybe I stepped in fair poop. Who knows?
Maybe.
Wait. Do we get a guess after this clue? Or is that...
We get it
Wait.
next round, I think.
Okay, so Gil has it.
They have the eye around 3, but we have the eye around 4. It looks like.
Oh, you can guess in any turn. You can guess any turn, but it takes your whole turn because you
It's
sent
your
me
whole
questions
turn
already.
to guess.
Oh, it's you either guess or get an answer. Okay.
So
Yeah.
you can guess now if you want.
Do you?
Well,
Emma,
that
do
they
you want to
already sent me.
guess?
Oh god, I have
They-
no idea.
No, they can't guess now.
Oh, because we answered the question already.
They
Okay,
sent me some
perfect.
questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right. So I think I have to do this one, which I think is going to be a little bit of an obvious answer. But if Gil already knows, then maybe I should do this. But maybe Gil's bluffing to get more information out of me. We will see.
Gil would do that though. Gil is very strategic.
I
But
would
Gil
because
is
I'm
right.
socially inept.
I played
Oh, y'all are doing really well here right now.
I played Gil's high rise game with him, and he's very strategic. So.
Hmm.
This is very different than high rise. We're
In
not-
every way.
Yes.
Sharang and Emma, have you checked the questions? You know what I'm answering?
Oh yeah, sorry. I
Oh,
have to look at the question. Okay, good.
Yep.
Oh, I can just
Cool.
keep it open because that covers the other side and not our side. How smart.
Yeah. Although you want to see his stuff too.
Oh
All
yeah,
right,
good
ready?
point. Good point. Yeah.
O R C H.
Okay, guys, stop. Silencio.
All right. Are you ready?
Now in this, if he guesses on this square, he also does get the letter.
Yeah. So
He can
no matter
reveal
what
the
happens,
letter.
I can reveal the letter first before the guess, right?
Correct. You reveal, and then you can decide
If
whether
need
you want to
be.
guess or get questions. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
I
easy.
mean, there's no. It sounds like there's no harm in that. So let me go ahead and do it. And there's only one we can do it for.
No, you can do any of them.
Any.
Oh, any.
Other side
okay.
too. Other
Oh,
side.
got it. Okay, let's do the other team's first one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
SCREE.
Okay, cool.
Oh.
Wait,
Okay, ready? I'm gonna start typing in my answer. Are you ready?
Uh-huh.
Okay, here we go.
Mm.
Woo!
Well done.
Hey.
Uh,
Go
let's
Gil.
let's talk about what the questions and answers were.
Yes, let's unpack. I love this part. It's like a a
The-
trial.
it's like when you know at the end of LARP you do your war stories. I love
Mhm.
that. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. So the first question was, what sound does it make? What was that?
What?
Screech.
Yeah.
What
it was-
onomatopoeia does it make? So we thought that was like scream or screech. I thought scream. Emma was smarter and said screech.
Mm.
Okay. Looking back on it though, for the honor, because we were talking about it in chat, and Sharang actually said violin, but screech, we thought that was really weird. That we were like, what?
Oh.
No, a violin doesn't screech. What? That doesn't.
It
I'm
does if
sorry.
I play it.
We weren't very good. Okay. So by the way, double episode, Gil does have 2 heads. We just decided that.
Perhaps maybe I'm channeling Trixie's head. I don't know, my third head.
We're gonna jump to let's keep going on our side because I think Mary's first clue is the killer one here.
Yeah.
Our second question was how is it made, and the answer is carefully.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was like carefree, Carrefour, and Emma was actually sensible and she's like careful. I'm like, oh, that makes more sense.
And our final question was, what's a group of them called? And this was, of course, an orchestra.
Yeah, my first thought was orchard, so I thought it was kind of fruit.
No, orchard was good.
Oh, no.
Was good. Yeah.
Yeah, orchard.
I was
Oh,
just
right.
imagining like fields of violins.
I was like, oh, if you slice a tomato, there's a keek sort of noise, maybe. Is that the
Oh.
screech that you were talking about? Was what I like thought, right?
Yeah.
I was off. I was so off.
The crunch of an apple.
Ooh.
It's like apple horror.
All right, Mary and Gil, what was your first question?
Yeah, first question Gil sent me was, what's a common brand of it?
Mm-hmm. Yep, and so at first I thought it was board games because it was strategy, they're stored in a case, but then suddenly it clicked Stradivarius. So I'm like, oh, of course.
Yeah.
I thought you were trying to say stratosphere, and I'm like Emma, stratosphere, and then I'm like, that probably is wrong though.
Well, it could.
Now-
Where could you find it in the stratosphere? It could be an answer.
Yeah.
Somebody hates their instrument far enough, they throw it as far as they can. Yeah, launch it into space.
Yes,
Oh.
and then the second question: where is it stored?
Yep.
And I debated whether to answer this one or the other one you gave me, which was,
I think. Oh,
what is it made of, or what color is it?
No, I think it was how does it make people feel? I
Oh, yeah.
think. Yeah.
Yes, how does it make you feel? And I was tempted
Mm-hmm.
to kind of be uplifting, feel good, and then no one's gonna guess that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like yoga. So that's why we have a case, straight and simple. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we've played a whole game of Ghost Rider. It's a party game, as you can see. We can have teams that are balanced or imbalanced as far as numbers go, so that's really cool too. And it's kind of, I don't know, did you find it a crunchy game? Was it
Not
making
at
your
all.
brain
I mean,
work?
not crunchy in terms of rules, but there's plenty to think about and deliberate.
Like Emma and I were chatting a lot. If you look at our chat transcript, we were chatting a lot.
Yeah.
And hers were much more intelligent than mine. I'm just like, the first thing that comes to my head, stratosphere.
But that's where the game, the medium is trying to mess you up a little bit. So you have to have some thoughtfulness to it.
Yeah. And I thought the questions were very funny. Like the questions were like what noise does it make is very funny, you know?
Yeah.
We may run into my favorite question a little bit later. I'll leave it as a mystery for now.
Yeah, we all have our own little favorite questions. Sometimes the favorite question might be only useful in a very limited situation. But sometimes, you know, it was a lot of fun. In fact, we all to come up with the objects and everything. We just opened a Google Doc and had a kind of jam session about like objects, objects go.
Yeah.
I remember doing that for Buffalo, like way back when. Like we just sat on the whiteboard. Okay, everyone, come up with words.
Yes. That method is still in use today as we spew virtually on a virtual situation.
But for this type of a game, that's so essential. I see a lot of people making party games, and if you don't get the content for it, I mean, the rules, like, it's one of the hardest types of games to design. I think like getting the rules just right is really tough, but then also having content, like you can't just do anything. Like you definitely, it takes creativity and then like a knife's edge to slice.
Yeah,
out
that's why many of the
just,
Jackbox games are very effective, right? Because they've had a team of writers come up with some really funny, interesting, silly like prompts, and I think you're right, Emma. That's like super important.
And also then once you go ahead.
Yeah, they've got to capture the feeling of the game, the spirit of the game, but they also like if they go stray too far, they can pull people out of the game. They can pull in contexts that aren't right for the game. I remember, and they can't be too similar to another one. You know, if you've got two cards that are like each other, that tends to mess with things. the first printing of Bad Medicine had had duplicates, had like one duplicate that slipped in. And then the second printing, I got rid of that duplicate and introduced another duplicate. So
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Certainly, like we did the whole brainstorm like Mary was talking about, and then we had to cut like 60-75% of the things we brainstormed because we have like a list of rules for things that the things that qualify, right? We can't have synonyms. The object itself can't have synonyms, right? Because it's frustrating if you know what it is, but you couldn't just figure out which synonym it was.
Yeah.
It has to be like a discrete physical thing. We have all these rules for it anyway.
It can't be a component of a thing, like it can't be a claw of a cat.
So it's not like things like pride or like, I don't know, legacy. It's always like objects, things like that.
Yeah.
Always objects. And actually in the Kickstarter, people at a certain tier level get to propose an object, but they have to abide by all of these rules, which makes it really complicated.
We're working with folks to get good objects. We got some great ones already from
Is this backwards?
No. It's for us, yeah.
It's backwards for you, but right side up for us.
Well, I am in the spirit world. Like I can't really.
Nice.
So I think now is a great time to kind of segue into some questions about game design and game process.
Some stuff. We want to open it up for our chat and our community, but also then we have some questions prepared about your own processes, your favorite parts of doing game design, all of that kind of stuff. Do we have any from chat first? We can prioritize.
Yeah, we do. In fact, we have one that I think that's gonna be a great segue. But as Mary mentioned, if you have got questions for all of our game design folks, put them in the chat and we'll get to them. So the first question we have, which we'll harp a little bit more on Ghost Rider because this is a good segue. Saving Throws asks, did you come across any interesting facts or stories while doing research for your games? And I have a great Ghost Rider one, and then we can open it up. So I didn't know much about spiritualism, and I found it really interesting when I learned that Harry Houdini was a staunch anti-spiritualist, and offered bounties for spiritual people claiming to be to actually contact spirits, and then he would go and prove that they were frauds.
Wow.
That's been a big thing in Magic for a long time. People using Magic to try to grift other people, and magicians then trying to fight that and counter that. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut people off.
Oh no, but it's totally true. And then I've mentioned this on another stream, but my grandmother's house was near a spiritualist camp that was there since the 1850s, and people would go there to connect with the deceased. And so I remember I actually went to church there once to see what it was like. And they, after the service, and it was an octagonal church, and it had like many different deities. Like there were pictures of Native Americans, and there were pictures of Jesus, and it was very inclusive. And they, in a way, and the preacher person came around and actually said to each person who their spirit guide was, who was with them at that moment, standing next to them, which was interesting. And they described the person who was standing next to me, la 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 la. And I went home to my grandmother's house, and I said, "Grandma, I just said this weird thing." And she said, "You went there?" And I said, yes, that's fine. It's not scary. They're mostly people who really want to connect with loved ones. And but they described this woman, and my grandma was like, "Oh, that's your grandmother. That's your great grandmother, who's also named Mary Fitzpatrick." And because they described how she looked, what her hair was like, what she was wearing, and my grandma was, that's grandmother, that's Mary Fitzpatrick, who she didn't get along with, and then it became a big thing. Anyway, so there's some weird stuff. And why this came to this now is like the whole spiritualist. I also took writing classes, and when I was in Edinburgh, in Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's house, who was a spiritualist who had seances and stuff like that. So So now we know all about Sherlock Holmes and the
Have
lake.
either of you read Mary Roach's book Spook?
No.
No.
So Mary Roach is a science writer. She's my favorite science writer. She writes all these books about, she goes very deep and uncovers all the weird, bizarre, funny academic research about a particular topic. And Spook is about spiritualism and ghosts and things. And she like does things like she like enrolled in a class for how to be a psychic in England for like a weekend retreat. And she did all these really, and what you were saying just resonated with me from that book. So yeah.
Oh, we should invite her to the stream.
She's one of my favorite nonfiction writers, so yeah.
Oh, great! Thank you. How about any funny stories from one of your games that you've researched? Or I mean, there's so many that we could pick from, and you've all done so many things.
So, for me, it was, and I kind of knew about this before I made the game, but there's the story of the competition, quote unquote, between the Chrysler Building and 40 Wall Street in New York City. What was happening is 40 Wall Street was going to be the tallest building in the world, and the Chrysler Building was going up at about the same time. And the people building the Chrysler Building found out that 40 Wall Street was going to add like 100 feet to the height of their building. Like they wanted this, so they were going to make sure of it. So the Chrysler Building secretly built their spire inside the building, and then one night they pulled it out and hoisted it to the top. And when the sun rose, the Chrysler Building was the tallest building in the world.
Oh wow!
Nice.
Wow, and it's related to Ghostbusters too.
Everything was
Yeah.
Ghostbusters. So yeah, there really was competition for tallest building in the world. Like that really meant something. Because 40 Wall Street put out ads in the paper saying they're not really taller because our observation deck is taller than theirs. But it was moot in 2 years because the Empire State Building went up 2 years later, and that was that ended the argument for a long time.
That's fascinating.
So my grad school thesis was an interactive theater show called You Spirits That Tend on Mortal Thought. It's like the most unoriginal name ever because it's a Shakespeare quote. And I did not a very good thesis, just saying. But I was doing the thesis at the same time I was making Mad Science Foundation, literally, which is a much better project than my thesis was. But anyway, but one of the things the game was about, you walk around New York City using an app, and you listen to like stories that ghosts are telling you about various locations, right? And I was doing a lot of research about the city, and one thing I learned that it's known to most New Yorkers, but I was new to New York at that time. I had just come from grad school. Was that Washington Square Park, which is the park right next to NYU, where I went all the time in breaks and things, literally right next to Tisch at NYU. Or back then, my department's moved to Brooklyn since then. But that Washington Square Park was a potter's field. So it used to be a mass grave site for people who died of like plagues, like various different plagues. And so I'm like, so I'm literally walking over this like former mass grave site. And that's what became one of the stories, this like this ghost of a kid who died of like yellow fever or something. I don't remember which exact disease it was. But it was very funny to be like, wow, I'm walking on this like old mass grave. That's fun. That was,
New York City's full of that stuff.
Yeah, New York is a great city for that kind of thing. Now that I can say, I've lived here for a number of years, I can actually call myself a New Yorker, I guess. So yeah, it's wild.
I learned how vehemently people defend what's a fruit and what's a vegetable. Depending on culinary or botanical. So like an artichoke is technically neither a fruit or a vegetable. It's a flower. It's a bud.
Yeah.
So
and a strawberry is a false fruit?
Yeah, like a strawberry is not a berry. Like a banana is a berry, but a strawberry is not actually a berry. I think because the seeds are on the outside. Because when I first designed Banana artichokes, it was just fruits and vegetables and kind of whatever. And then I split the markets into fruits and vegetables, and people's like tomatoes a fruit and all these different things. I know.
That's so funny, Emma.
Well, my world is shook now. I'm just gonna give everything up and walk into the sea.
Well, now it's technically all vegetables, but then an eggplant is a berry, I think, which makes it a fruit. And yeah, there's never try to categorize fruits and vegetables because people will come out of the woodwork.
Internet
So you're saying
argument.
you got anger. You got some anger.
Just
Or
strong,
vehemence.
yeah, strongly held opinions. Strongly held opinions.
I mean, they say every internet subculture has its own drama that to them seems super serious, right? And to everyone else is like, what are you talking about? This is so dumb.
I just never thought that that it would occupy a lot of time. But there are, these things are important to someone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, if you want a fruit salad and you put like aubergine in there, that's gonna
Right,
perturb
yeah.
some people, maybe. I don't know.
There's a quote about that. There's like, intelligence is knowing that a tomato is a fruit, or something like wisdom is not putting in a fruit salad. That.
Oh, that's clever.
Well, thank you, Saving Throws, for that question. I really like that one. Barb asks if you could get Jumanji into one of the games I'm gonna add, or projects you've worked on. What would it be, and why?
I mean, the easy answer for me is Honey and Hot Wax, an anthology of erotic art games. But I think that's a cop-out answer. So I'll let someone else go first.
One of the ones we've worked on. Oh, this is different than the ones I've asked for. I'll have to think about this.
Well, we didn't want to give you a softball and just like the game that you've been wishing to get sucked into for the past 10 years.
Right.
So one of the games we've worked on, right?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I make games generally based in the real world, or as close to the real world as I can get, without them necessarily being simulations. So I'm actually not a huge fan of TV, and I used to work in film production. So, the networks would be cool to be in for a few weeks, and then it would get annoying. Just too much work, too many like 12-hour days. So I prefer to be in the world of High Rise as long as I get to be an architect, and not one of the poor people on the board who get priced out. But that's kind of a selfish answer, but that's the kind of games I make they're modern power fantasies, so because these are the people nowadays who have power. It's when you play like a Euro, you're trying to appease a king, and these days, like I'm writing more about people with the real huge social credibility these days, which is not a situation I'm necessarily crazy about, but this is the world we're stuck in, so that's what I'm trying to reflect.
I'm looking at all my games right now, and I'm gonna be bad and be like, oh, it depends which social class I will enter into the game as, right?
Yes.
Which is weird, right? Because I'm thinking of, I could easily say Avatar: The Last Airbender. Oh, it totally depends which social class within Avatar: The Last Airbender, right? Like that's enormous, right? I'm thinking of, a game that Max and I made a long time ago for an art gallery called Basic Principles of Incantation. But again, which social class? Are you the gentrified like wizard class, or are you the poor plebeians who like don't have a say? So I think I will probably say Hex Ed, which is a game I made. It's a short role-playing game about 3 nights in wizard school where you're struggling to finish the midterm that you have put off right before the midterm is due. Most of us have that experience. Sorry, Mary. So I think that would be because wizard school, yay, that's the least socially stratified game I've made. Though of course you can be like, but what about the non-wizards and stuff? So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting how social dynamics get reflected in our games, whether we want them there or not.
Yeah, I mean, Mary writes about that, right? Like the games that we make reflect are like the zeitgeist, and they reflect the like spirit. They reflect the anxieties that we are thinking about, whether or not we consciously want to put them in there, right?
Yeah. Oh god, that sounds very stressful. Like gosh, that's like nightmares for me. So I'm thinking about a lot of stuff I've made, stuff in progress. I have games like And Then We Died, where everyone dies at the end. What to Eat After the Apocalypse, which everyone mostly dies at the end. So I'm like, which is a game where everyone doesn't die? I think Split the Loot is a prototype that I've been working on and off for years, where you just get a bunch of stuff and you're trying to get the best stuff. So you're just like hoarding through a treasure pile and somebody wins because they have the most things, but you also have
Capitalism.
Capitalism. Like, well, it's more like socialism. Like we all get great stuff, but someone gets like, I guess not socialism, but it's like somebody gets slightly better stuff. So it's not like the billionaires and the poor people. It's more like, okay, you know, I got some rubies, you got some emeralds. Like, okay, you got more pearls, but we just have a pile of treasure in front of us. So, yeah.
Haggling.
I guess the people we pillage from, or who like lost the treasure.
Mhm.
I know what game
There
we're
may be
doing
a
now.
backstory.
Yeah.
I know
yeah.
I don't want to be in the bad medicine game. That's a game I do not want to be inside. So
I mean, we kind of are in it, which kind of stinks.
Oh my gosh.
dear.
Yeah.
Um,
Too real.
It's like I said, that's my problem. I make games that reflect the real world. I wish I could give my actual answer would be one of my secret projects, but because they're secret projects, I can't discuss them on the stream. So sorry to be a tease.
We'll have to hear about it soon.
Yes.
We don't know how soon. We don't know how soon.
I mean, soon can be relative. If we're talking like a galactic scale, then it's going to be incredibly soon.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind getting sucked into Monarch forever. I'm kind of in it.
Monarch is a very joyful game where everyone's nice to each other. So yes, absolutely.
And also, it's a nice counter of like, whereas we're reflecting social dynamics, Monarch is kind of changing the social dynamics to be more like how it should be, and that's I really like that approach.
Yeah. I mean, I'd even like the annoying guest part, especially since one of them looks like you, Mary, right?
Yes.
I was like, I think this looks like my professor, the creator of this game. I was playing it with my special needs kids at NYU, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize this looks like my professor. And then I asked Max, I'm like, Max, I think Max said, yeah, that is Mary's face.
And it's an unwanted guest.
That's like in Traum Fabric, writer Kinezia's game about Hollywood and making films. He put himself in as one of the actors, and it's worth -2 points. You don't want Reiner in your films unless you're going for the worst film, which is an award in of itself.
Nice.
Love that.
I think I'm either -2 or -3. I think I'm not a good thing.
It's nice to give yourself a scale on some objective system.
Oh wait, I have to share this one.
Uh-oh.
Maybe Max wants to be in
We're
Visitor.
playing near and far. I thought that room was far more shallow than it actually was.
No, it's a huge room. Did you ever see that? This is
a promo card for Visitor.
This is Mary
cool.
Max card.
I love it.
That's really cool.
I wasn't
like that.
You can throw us at a spaceship.
I was indeed going to say Visitor in Blackwood Grove because it's exciting, and I guess there's some dire consequences if you lose. But it's the your classic kids try to save an alien as the evil government agents try to catch the kids in the alien. I think
Wait, Max, I can amend my answer and tell them the game that you play tested for me, and then we soared, which is a role-playing game where you are a lovable, dysfunctional family with an ET style alien living with you and all the hijinks. And that's a cheerful game. I'd be inside.
That's a cheerful game.
There you go.
I don't only make depressing games. In fact, during pandemic, I decided I'm gonna make some non-sad games.
I need to make one of these and then we games. I think I'll do and then we ate candy. I think that's a nice one.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like candy.
And then we ended all world problems, and we can all get Jumanji into that
I
one.
have a candy.
Ooh.
My flatmate and I bought $70 of chocolate using the Easter chocolate sales. So I have
wow.
I have a lot of chocolate at home. Like my favorite holidays are Halloween, Valentine's Day, and Easter because chocolate is discounted
Yes.
around all those times.
One of my friends
You were
wrote on.
gonna say, I thought you were gonna say I just bought a whole $17 worth of equivalent worth of chocolate, and then for some reason my brain said in cryptocurrency, and then I went down a whole rabbit hole.
I bought ETF of chocolate.
Oh,
NFT
no.
chocolate, you know, like you have to give the molecules back.
You have a lot of it, but you can never actually eat it. So I have a friend who wrote on Facebook. She was like, she runs this like puzzle game business for big companies. So she always gets these weird props, and she's like, okay, I have about 10 pounds of gelt, of like Hanukkah coins, and they're slightly leaky, but they're still perfectly edible. But they're just like really crappy chocolate. Like, who wants it? And I'm like, I'll take it. So I went over to her place, and we had to be socially distanced. So like we like shouted hi through the door, like hi, and then I picked up like the 10 pounds of chocolate and took an Uber back.
That's so much better than when I emailed out to the entire undergraduate class being like, so we have 20 pounds of industry grade fake poop. Does anyone have any use for it? Because we're done with our lab experiment. Max probably got this email. So yeah.
Yeah, and with that, maybe we could have another question.
Yeah. We're shifting away. Great Blue Heron asks, what classic game would you want to see updated with modern mechanics, and what kinds of changes might have to be made?
Ooh, this is good. This is like values and claim modding.
I mean, the easy. Sorry.
No, go on, Sharon. Go on, Sharon.
I'm gonna say the easy answer, which is a cop-out answer again, I have a lot of those, is Monopoly, right? Because how Monopoly started out with a certain message, and then, I mean, I'm gonna not assume. So Monopoly started out made by this designer, and she wanted it to be about the dangers of capitalism, and then it got modified and became about how to be as capitalistic as possible. And that's one reason I feel the rules feel so muddled, because the intent behind the game is like mixed up, right? So I think modding that towards the original intent, especially in the current day and age where we're being the mainstream critique of capitalism and its possible bad consequences, is it is becoming more mainstream and people are thinking about this more. I think having a game like Monopoly updated to reflect the original intent more and going back to the original rules and thinking about it would be very interesting.
Somebody did that though with Anti-Monopoly. They did that in
Really?
the 70s. And there was a long lawsuit because Parker Brothers sued them. And it's funny, there was another lawsuit. No, as part of that lawsuit, Anti-Monopoly were able to argue that Parker Brothers didn't actually invent Monopoly. Because of Liz Maggie was the original person who designed the Landlords game, which became Monopoly. But to this day, because of that lawsuit, Parker Brothers will never acknowledge Lizzie Maggie's influence.
Actually, they paid her.
They paid her like $500, right?
Oh no, they ripped her off. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But they did have a legal agreement.
So like.
They stole it from her, and she called them
Their
on it. And they
will never
her other
mention.
games.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, they promised to publish her other games, but they published, pretty bad games and tanked them. They just were. As we all know, publishers, if they don't support a product, can make a product not be very successful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
we
being
all
a
say
trader.
that with a kind of pain.
Yeah. It's like being a trader in a co-op game, a semi-co-op game, because, you can tank the game. Like, the game is often so hard. Like Shadows over Camelot, if you're playing it with a small player count, like, you as the trader, sometimes you don't need to do anything because the game itself you don't need to do a thing. So publishing a game is so hard that, you really don't need to do much that's different in order to intentionally tank it.
Yep.
Wow. So,
that was my answer, Monopoly.
Okay, we're redoing games. Okay, I'm getting back to that. Yeah, this is really interesting.
I would redo Mousetrap. Because
you took mine.
I'm sorry.
Let's all
I thought
to make a Mousetrap together. Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be really fun because now it's funny because Sid Saxon was actually contracted to improve it. So, like, the version that you get now has a little bit of Sid Saxon in it, but still, it's like, it's not enough. You know, it just wasn't really enough. But that central area is so much fun. I would also have a second answer, but I don't want to hoard it. I've already stolen one answer.
Well, you can give your second answer, and then I'll give my reasons for Mousetrap.
Oh, that's perfect.
And then
yes.
I'll take Mousetrap.
My second answer is Trivial Pursuit.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Because like those games, trivia games should not last 2 hours. And it usually ends with people completely ignoring the board and just asking each other questions right off the cards. And that's a sign that there's something wrong with the stuff that isn't the cards. You know, if people ditch everything else, then your game is in the cards, and just make it the cards and strip everything else away and just make it the least amount of resistance between the players and what they want to play. And Trivial Pursuit, there is so much resistance. So yeah,
well, it
that's
was
another
designed
one.
by journalists. Break.
It was a
shame there, Mary. I was designed by journalists.
Shame.
Canadian journalists.
So much shade, Mary.
My reason for Mousetrap, we didn't have a lot of board games growing up. We had Monopoly, definitely had Mousetrap, and that was one that we would play together just as kids. And as a very precocious and thinky child, I don't know what age, probably like 9 or 10 or something, like, this is just horrible. Like, I can see how the Mousetrap not functioning is a mechanic and was intentional. Was it really, or was it just poorly designed? The world may never know. But it was kind of intended to not function all the time, and it was intended to not trap the mouse because you needed to have that will it or won't it kind of, I guess. But you spent all this time building up this thing, and it was a toy, and it was just fun, like just pulling it out of the box, and like the turns you got to build the thing. And also, as someone who loved Legos, right, I'm building this thing, and then like it just flubs right off the first thing, or it like goes halfway, and then it's just like, wait, did it not work mechanically, or did we just not set it up? There was so much kind of fudge factor there, and I would love to find that let's still have the building fun, still have the uncertainty, because you want some level of uncertainty, but maybe like a splitting or Rube Goldberg, like you don't know what direction it will go, but just like you put all this work in and then nothing happens, you don't get like any feedback, is kind of a bummer.
Yeah, great point.
For you. This is a great description. This is really interesting. And I'm wondering, it's not designed obsolescence, but it's designed punishment. Something, what is this in game design terms? Like when you really are just going to make sure people don't get to win most of the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
We don't have a word for that, but
And you can think about that in terms of also video games, right? We can think about that in roguelikes, right? The point is it's going to be very, very difficult. Like Max and I have been talking together about playing Hades. It's designed to be difficult to win in the first run. Most people will take many runs before they win it once.
Yeah, but the great thing about that is it rewards you. It gives you feedback. Like you kind of want to die, right? Like every time you go back, you get the story elements, which to me are some of the most fun and like satisfying things. So it's just kind of like you get different rewards. Like the one reward and incentive for game design is to win, so I was thinking, but another one is just like, okay, I did the thing, I didn't even win, so like making there be different benefits that you can get depending on it,
and then that makes me think, sorry,
well, you need some uncertainty, right? If it just went off every time, there'd be no point to run the machine,
right. But it makes me think of like sorry Mary.
Oh no, I'm just it has to be authentically. It has to be an authentic shot, like it's like there's this dishonesty somehow in the trust you have in the system. And I don't know, this is just interesting. Yeah. Sharang, go ahead.
Oh, I was saying this idea of playing to lose makes me think of like LARP culture, right? Especially like the Nordic LARP culture where you're like, well, yeah, everything's going to go horribly. I want to lose. And it's not exactly the same because it's a more narrative loss and less of a mechanical loss, but it still has echoes of like I want to lose, and Mary's thing about like it is whether it's authentic, right? Because Emma, I think you're saying we'll update Mousetrap because you weren't sure whether it was designed to be uncertain or whether it was just cheaply made plastic.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, the games really have to give you feedback as to why did you lose. Like, did you lose because you did something wrong, or did you lose because RNG did not look down favorably on you? I used to play this GM sim. Like, one of the things that a kind of game I cannot play, I do not allow myself to play, is a sports GM sim. Because if I ever do, like, there goes my week. Like, at least 1 week, maybe 2, just gone. I mean, I played Transport Tycoon this past weekend, and I pushed my body much further than I normally would. You know, it got to the point of, like, danger where, like, I wasn't eating regularly, I wasn't getting up out of my chair, like, I felt stiff. Just because these games pull me in so far. So
No
they're kind of risky. Yeah, they're kind of risky in a lot of ways to me, especially to my productivity. But there was one GM sim that did something. They tried to do something interesting. It was an American football sim, front office football, fantastic game. But they wanted to put in clubhouse chemistry, like did the players get along? And they tried to do that through astrology. So every single player on your team, you saw their sign. So then you get to the end of your season and your team wouldn't do that great, and you'd have no idea why. Was it because of their sign? Was it because of injury? Was it because of underperformance? Was it because of coaching? And the game wouldn't tell you.
Yeah.
So that was a real, that could be a real issue. So I think people in the 80s, when they started like making war games and porting them over to computer, like take these really complex Avalon Hill games and moving them onto the computer, they discovered that was a problem. Like, the game had all these sophisticated calculations, but you never found out why something happened. Was it because of this calculation or that calculation?
I love the idea, though, that you can like bet on sports based on astrology.
It's a very baseball
It's
thing.
gonna do well because there are lots of, I don't know, Aries or whatever, Sagittarius is in there. Oh, you're gonna win.
Max, we didn't get to your favorite game fix, but are you in the Mousetrap camp?
Well, I was going to be, but I have a second answer, which is actually you introduced this game to me, Pit from 1908. It's a great card game, and my answer is Pit because it's so close to actually being like ready. You're right. It's actually got fairly modern sensibilities. I don't know. I'm also just a sucker for real-time games. I love real-time games, so I played that one fairly extensively, and I would love to see it kind of rebooted into.
You introduced me to that game, Max.
After Mary introduced it to me.
Yeah.
So this is what happens. But weird thing about that game, it was also, there were a couple kind of stock market games that came out right around that time when the stock exchange first was invented. And Edward Casey, the kind of prototypical Aleister Crowley guy, actually invented that game.
Wow.
Yeah. Look it up. It's Edgar Casey.
Occultism and capitalism. 2 flavors that just go right into each other. Yes.
Not exactly. We're really much more in the humanities side of it.
Very much so, yeah. I remember your reaction when you play tested High Rise, Mary. You were like because I intentionally wanted the capitalistic themes and the corruption to feel like dirty. And then right after that, you played Ryan's game, which I believe is on Kickstarter now. Ryan's Dice stock game. It's one of the 3 games that Board Game Tables is doing. I think it's called Bear Market. But it's a stock game with dice, and it's all about short sells. And it's very, very good. It helps you understand short sells, because short sells are weird. Really, really weird.
One of the things I remember when I took the class with Mary, we talked about how games can be useful as models of complex systems. And one of the things we talked about was economies. So that's interesting what you're just talking about. Like, lots of economic concepts are very complicated to understand, and games as systems can be useful for simulating and for simplifying some of those things. So
games are amazing at teaching systems.
But it also depends on, of course, how you simplify the system, right?
Right.
'Cause
There's always the designer's choice. Yeah.
Those choices are where the values kind of come in and go whoopsie
Yeah.
whoopsie.
Yep.
I'm
How
gonna
about some
post.
more questions? Oh yeah,
I'm gonna post a link to that Kickstarter. Do you want it in the Twitch chat or in the Discord? Which is better?
Do it both if you can.
Okay.
I'm not looking at the regular chat because what if we start playing any minute and then the clues will be there and then it won't be fair.
And Blue Heron, Great Blue Heron, thanks for the question. It was a great question.
Clearly, when people ask a question, we have things to talk about.
Bear Raid. That's the name of the game. Bear
We're
Raid.
also very opinionated game designers, all four of us. Like
Yeah.
literally, like.
Yeah.
I've spoken to all of you at length. We're all very opinionated.
There are 5 of us.
Oh yeah, I meant not like. Yeah.
So I was going to propose we do another round of Ghost Rider and then come back for some more questions after and then wrap up.
Yeah.
Oh, I turns out I cannot post a link. Nightbot shouted at me.
We'll get it. We'll get it for you.
Okay.
Gil, shame.
Shame. 2 minutes in the corner.
Are you ready for some more Ghost Rider?
I think I am.
All right.
I'm excited. Okay, we're gonna go get it. Need the link. Need the link.
Well, we're still in the lobby, so hopefully you should be able to just jump right back in. We can shuffle around the roles, though, if someone else wants to be a spirit.
What if somebody wants to click randomize teams? I'd be good with that.
Sure. All right.
Oh, now we have no spirits.
Wait, I'm not there. Hold on, coming. Oh my God, am I
How about I be a
anywhere?
spirit? Do you mind if I'm a spirit? All right,
Sure.
excellent.
Oh, good.
Great.
The tables have literally turned.
Yes,
Are
this is great.
Are you ready for this?
Probably not, but I will give it. What's the expression? I will try it. I will give it my something attempt. Oh, it's very American. I will attempt it.
Give it the old college try.
Let's try.
That is it. College try. Which I also like, people at college can work really hard. Like that's not very fair to college students. And then I became a professor. I'm like, oh my god, my undergraduate.
All right.
All right, let's do it. The one thing is, particularly mediums, make sure you're not looking at the stream or chat.
I'm not.
I'm a spirit, but I clicked the right anyway.
Right, because I'm alone.
Yeah. You can type all your things in there.
Oh yeah, I can make notes. Yeah, I can make notes.
Yeah.
The thing you got to be careful of.
To it afterwards.
Oh yeah, I guess they're not going to see the object, so that would be fine for you. Yeah. All right. Cool. Let's give it a shot.
Hey.
So, spirits, you're currently seeing a selection of objects. Talk about which one you're going to choose, because as soon as one of you clicks one, that's going to be the object for the game.
Okay, kind of like number 3, Emma. What do you think?
Yeah, that's great.
All right, number 3 it is. I'm going to choose it. There we go.
All right, and me and Mary are Sun Team, right? So we are going to go first.
Oh. Two?
All right, Mary, what are you thinking here?
2?
Yeah, I like that one. Go ahead and hit that one. And then I'm thinking 5. 5 is generally pretty good.
5 will now be my because remember the numbers change.
Well, I mean, just if you hit 2, or I can hit 2.
Oh, I will hit 2 also. Oh, yeah. I see.
Go ahead and hit 2. Or just one of us needs to do it.
All right.
Okay,
so
I
now,
thought you did. See, I was just projecting.
Oh, sorry. I'm waiting for you. And 4, that would be my proposal. I like 4.
Sure.
All right, cool.
Oh my god.
Dun, 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 dun.
All right, Sharang, wavelength. We are.
All right, I'm going to answer
here.
a question. I'm going to answer this question. And I'm going to type in my answer. Okay?
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Here we go. Wait. How do I type in? Oh, I got to type it on the right side.
Top right.
On the Sun Team always goes first, right? Okay.
Yep.
W. A T.
Silencio.
All right. Do I have to click something to make this go away?
No, just wait. You just wait until we send you your next questions next round.
Got it. Okay, cool.
Okay. Do I pick my choices now?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So I think I'm going to do this one.
Max, where are we cluing each other?
And
Max?
We are in
this one.
We are in guest text 2 in chat.
Got it.
That's a funny one. I kind of want to answer that just to be funny, but we want to win. Do we want to win or do we want to be funny? I forget.
That is up to the capricious spirit.
I think we've got two very capricious spirits right now.
Okay, I'm gonna do it. All right, you ready?
Let me look at which question you picked. Okay.
Okay. C H I.
Okay, Silencio.
Okay.
THI.
Huh.
All right, Mary, it's us. I vote we give him one weird thing and one less weird thing.
All right.
I like weird things.
When those weird ones work, they can work really well. I liked yeah.
Like number 4.
Yeah, four would be an out there one, which could be really good or not used. So I was also thinking 6 could also be really good. But I wouldn't do both of those. I'd do one of those.
I think maybe we want 3 and 4.
Yeah, okay, that looks good.
Or 3 and 6. We can do your 6.
No, we can do 6 next time.
Okay.
We're giving you this one and this one.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna use this one. Let's see if this works. Ready?
Yeah.
Ready?
F L I P.
Silencio.
Okay. Well, Sharang, it's you. While Mary and I debate.
I'm going to change my questions. Bam. Are you sure you want to discard your team's entire hand? Discard hand.
Hell
That's
yeah.
intense.
Okay, I'm gonna do. These are wild. These two.
Oh, okay.
Now, in the real game, the physical game, do you use a planchette?
Well, that's funny that you asked that, Gil.
Hmm.
Max, do you want to reveal your shirt?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Here's my.
Oh, very good. Yeah.
There.
This-
No,
We had a great. This was a great question from one of our Kickstarter backers earlier today, which was do you use a Ouija board, or how did it start really? And we started with a Ouija board. That was the original goal. Mary was like, let's make a game with a Ouija board. We were like, well, word game makes sense. That's where this partial letter by letter thing came from. But eventually we realized the Ouija board was kind of causing more problems than it was solving.
That's fair.
well, I
As
still
in
like
ghosts
the
kept
Ouija
coming
board.
to annoy you? Is that the kind of problem?
You can make it work with a Ouija board, I think, but yeah, it adds a lot of friction.
Well, it was also, this is the first game we've ever designed where we're totally virtual, right? So
Mhm.
so how much is Tabletop Simulator's Ouija board?
Yeah.
Functionality versus our own hands, you know?
Yep.
But the other thing about it is that you have to, you need a record of it anyway, so you have to write something down, right? Otherwise, you're just seeing the letters, and they can go by, and people would forget.
Yeah.
what the word was.
I would say that the spirit manipulates it, and then the mediums write it down, and then that way you get that feeling. But yeah, that's friction. It's just more work. Just have the spirit, cut out the middleman, and just have the spirit write it down, and that's that.
That's ultimately what we settled on. Yep.
Yeah, I
Cut
can
out
see
the
why.
planchette. Cut out the planchette.
But you can still play it with us if you wanted to.
Yeah.
All right, Max.
All right.
Is it our turn?
No,
I'm
Emma's
typing.
gonna be typing. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. F I S H.
Huh?
And period if you're done.
Oh, okay.
Max, are you in here? What are you doing?
am I in the chat? I mean, that is our. I think we should do one more set of questions before we guess.
Wait, are you in the chat? Are you cheating?
No,
Not that
we're
chat.
Sorry, we're in.
Oh, that
our
chat.
secret-
Okay. I
our
thought you were in
secret
the
chat.
chat. I was like,
No. Not a cheetah. Okay.
I think you're right, Mary, but I think let's ask one more set of questions to try to dig.
You always do this, and I jump in and I answer it, and then it's right.
You're probably right, but let's be safe.
Okay, fine. For the sake of play.
I mean, you also designed all of the questions, so.
Well, there's so many you forget.
That's
Yeah.
right.
I'm thinking.
We threw out so many too. I don't know what's actually.
What's left?
Spoken like a true designer.
1, 2, 3, and 4 are all really good for confirming our theory, I think.
Why is 4? You just like that, but I don't know, man.
No, 4 is good. There's a clear answer if it is what we think it is.
I don't.
I can type
Oh,
it to you. in the
sure.
chat.
Thank you.
Um,
All right. Yeah. Can you? I'm looking.
because they
You
don't.
know, if you asked me that question, I would not.
Okay,
answer
so
the way you think.
okay, we won't ask that one. Let's go with do you want to go with 2? Because 2 could get us to where we're going, or 6. 6 could also.
6 and. I mean, we know 1.
Yeah, we know 1. We no matter what it is, we know what that answer is.
What about 5? 5 is interesting. 5 is specific.
Can't think of what it would be for our theory.
I
though.
can't either, but that's what mediums are for.
Let's give them 6 and 7.
Okay, fine.
You can have this one, and you can have that one.
Oh my god.
Can chat see these questions? Or
They're seeing the questions that we're sending, yeah, because
Okay,
they're
cool.
looking at my screen.
There,
Yeah.
Is it okay for me to consult Wikipedia?
Yes. Spirits can look
Okay.
up anything they want.
Okay, that's helpful.
especially right now because it's on the internet.
Yeah.
Is it okay
I'll-
for
face? House rules might be.
Okay, that's not going to be a useful line of inquiry, so let me try this one. Okay.
Oh, Max, I can't put.
What's up?
I'm gonna type at you.
All right.
Any game's good if you can use it to make people do research.
Okay. Shoot. I think it's got to be this one. That's got to be the answer. That's gonna be a question. I mean, I'm just trying. I've got a couple of answers for this.
But do we understand them?
Yeah, I'm trying to think about that.
I wish I could go back and look at the questions I rejected so I could
Does that have
assess
to be
over my life choices.
Does it have to be one-word answers, or can it be two-word answers?
Multiple words, anything you want. I guess
Okay.
we should have mentioned the only thing it can't be is it can't contain the actual secret object in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here comes my my answer. I hope this is not a bad answer. Here we go. Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Here we go. S
Oh.
M A L L Space T A N
What?
K
Okay, what? Valencia?
period.
Huh. Huh.
Is this like a little miniature war game?
That's my I'm a ghost answer.
Wow. Wow.
right.
Okay. Well, we learned something from this for sure.
Okay, so I have the I. Remind me, that means I can fill out a full word.
No.
No,
you
one
shouldn't-
letter on any
Yeah.
word.
Oh, okay.
Should anyone
I
want to
would
get
like
one letter?
I would like to fill out. I would like to get a word, a letter on the FLIP word, please.
Okay, here we go. Your letter is P.
Okay, and I would now like to guess.
All right. So in
Okay.
your next space, go ahead and put the first letter of your guess.
Okay, I'm saying D O L.
MS to knock in between.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say no. Okay.
Yeah.
So knock means yes. Knock once
Well, a
for
single
yes.
knock. Yeah, single
No,
knock.
okay.
Yep.
Okay. P H I N.
You got it.
Actually done.
How do you get that? Whoa, okay. Whoa. We got, whoa. Yes, amazing.
When you said,
Answer.
when my question was, what's it powered by? And you said fish,
Uh-huh.
I'm like, okay, animal. My first
Uh-huh.
thought was shark. And then
Okay,
I'm like, no, but it wouldn't be a childhood thing if it's shark.
Oh
So
my
what
gosh,
animal is childhood related to water and it eats fish? I'm like, okay, it has to be. I'm like, it's not turtle. Turtles don't eat fish, so it must be
Mhm.
dolphin.
Wow. Mind meld. Yes.
I'm glad you got it there because Mary and I were debating either like scuba or diver or dolphin, and after small tanks, which was the question, what causes people to fight over it, I would have totally gone scuba.
Yeah,
sorry.
Before you said
Interesting, yeah.
small tanks, Gil, I'm like, I think it's dolphin. And so when you said, oh, we might know him, let's do another question, like, please do another question because I think I have the answer. So it was really good for
Yeah.
me to do another question.
So like the first question he asked for me was, what do you need to in order to use it? And I started typing out water.
Mhm.
What nickname do people have for it? And
Oh.
I tried to write in Flipper because
Mhm.
of
We got
that. Yep.
I thought that was like, how does it move or something? And I'm like, that's probably Flipper. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the third one, I had a choice between what countries are found in and what causes people to fight over it. So that caused my Wikipedia search. First, I searched for countries they can be found in, and it turns out they can be found all over
Everywhere.
the world. So that wasn't going to be useful. So then my second Wikipedia search was the plot for Free Willy, because I wanted to see if there was like a single thing that the movie was about that I could pick.
Yeah.
And it was whalers, but I thought that would be too confusing, so I went with
That
small
kind
tanks.
of tanks. That you went small tanks for keeping them in. I
Oh,
yeah.
not
you think,
oxygen,
Max?
not I thought it was oxygen tanks.
Thanks. Oh.
Yes.
Yeah. I was gonna just ignore that because
I had no better answer. That was the best one I had.
I think Emma did a really good job with my answer.
And Emma did a really good job with your
I
answer.
was okay. So my first question was, at what point in your life is it most useful? That was the funny troll thing. I forget what the other question
Oh, that was the most useful answer you gave me, Emma.
I can't believe that. I'm so
Because otherwise
happy.
I would have
that
said shark, right? I'm like,
Right, yeah.
you don't put kids with sharks.
Yeah, because I was thinking like childhood, like the Lisa Frank stickers and like rainbows and dolphins, and not that isn't still my life. Like dolphins are great, so like adult children too. But yeah,
that was the best answer. That's what sealed it for me. I'm like, okay.
Oh, that's so great.
You did great.
Oh, and yeah, the second one, what powers it? Fish.
I thought
that
was
you
really
would get
good.
it from that. I
Yeah,
thought
my
that.
first reaction was
very
what?
clever.
I'm like, oh, it eats fish. That makes sense. Living thing. That makes sense.
Yes, that was great.
That was
Well
very
done, y'all.
You did
It's a
really well.
different
That was very
experience.
fast.
It's a different experience having a teammate and not having a teammate. It's actually
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
This is one of those games that that sometimes we have people complain like, oh, the gameplay is the same if you have 6 players or versus 4 players, but it really actually is a very different dynamic.
Yeah.
And it's honestly more fun with with having teammates I really enjoy.
It's very different, right? Because I have to rely on myself.
Yeah. Well, it's easier and harder in some ways because if you have teammates, you can
You can
definitely
confuse each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I did with Stratosphere.
Yeah.
No, I thought Stratosphere was great. As soon as you said that, I'm like, oh, that's definitely it.
Do we have any comments on the game from chat? I want to involve chat. Hello, we're Resonym with our really awesome guests playing some Ghost Rider, which is our game available on Kickstarter for 9 more days.
Yeah, 9 more days, just over a week.
7, 6.
Wait, no, hold on. Sorry, we're supposed to do the reintroduction thing. We're Resonym, just like Mary said, a small board game company. We made Ghost Rider, and we're here with famous, world-renowned game designers, Gil Hova, Emma Larkins, and Sharang Biswas.
I do like to say I'm internationally exhibited artist because I've exhibited in Canada.
I'll take it.
It is a different country.
And chat had lots of theories about shrinking dolphins into small tanks.
I really thought of like either oxygen tanks or like little baby tanks, like fighting over dolphins' rights.
No, when you said tanks, I'm like, okay, I think this confirms that it can't be shark, probably not turtles. Okay, dolphin. I was proud of my performance.
So
You did very well.
I was a good ghost. I was just a good ghost for the wrong team.
Right, that's true though. I got a lot of clues from you, Gil. I'm like, oh, water, flipper. Okay, these track. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna confirm it's flipper and not a bizarre word that I can't think of. And I'm like, okay, done.
Yeah, it could have just been flip. You could have just gotten a period off of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Could have been
My
like
mind-
a pancake flipper.
Oh yeah. My mind's like, okay, what's this like? Screagle for the scree one, or like flipsonic, fliptastic, like just trying to like, am I missing a word here?
I have a problem like that too, where you start to see words and you think you don't know if you're making them up.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that a word?
I feel Max is very good at word games. There are multiple things that I played with Max, and Max introduced me to that word, like Letter Jam. You introduced me to Max.
Letter Jam's really good.
And I play tested a very alpha version of Visitor with You, which is a word game ish. And yeah, I think Max.
There are no words actually.
Yeah, it's true.
There are no words.
It's a word game with no words.
I'm not sure. That doesn't prove I'm good at word games, just that I like word games.
Oh, true.
I come from a big family
shocking.
of word game people too. Yeah, my grandma like kicked our butt at Scrabble until she died. Like, 95 years old, she could beat everyone at the table in Scrabble. And
Oh, that's
she
great.
did not have a college education. It wasn't about that. It was just good gameplay.
Yeah.
Nice.
How about some other questions from our chat peeps? Or we have
Yeah.
questions for you too.
Hit us with questions.
We
Follow-up
talk at
one.
length if you've noticed.
Yeah. So this will be just a quick follow-up one from our last set of questions. Barb asks, what game did you work on that you would want to Jumanji your mortal enemy into?
Ooh.
I already answered that one. I mean, just between what to eat after the apocalypse or and then we died. I mean, and then we died isn't that bad because you kind of have control over how you die, and you get to bring all your friends and compatriots with you, so that's kind of nice, I guess.
Sorry.
Go on, Sharang. Go on.
I would do a game that Max has played on the Resonym stream with me. I would pick Absolution in Brass, a game of guilty steampunk cyborg zombies, in which you play steampunk cyborg zombies who have all done horrible things in your life. And as you play the game, it's a role-playing game, and as you play, you have to ask the people you did horrible things to for forgiveness. And if they don't forgive you, you are enslaved by the choir and made to fight the host of heaven. And if you are forgiven, you can leave. And I'm like, you know what? If you're my mortal enemy and people end up forgiving you, then maybe you deserve to be forgiven. But if you don't, you will have a terrible life and it will be horrible.
Yeah, but the theme of atonement is really interesting as a game because it's so hard to do in real life. Like, you know, like there's a whole holiday for that. That's what
I would like to think I'm a nice person, would give them the option of atoning by being in this world. But they would still suffer. Max, if you remember, you still suffer before the end, right? So before you atone, you still suffer. So I can still inflict punishment on you.
Yeah.
I would do my second published game, which is Battle Merchants, which is a strategy game set with fantasy arms merchants. And they would not get to be the arms merchants. And also, it's an early game of mine. You know, there's some good bits in it, but there's some bits in it that, like, I'm not crazy about. It's a game I'm probably not going to return to, so I feel like that would also have the added advantage of they'd be trapped in an out-of-print game, which...
Ooh, that's a meta level. That's good. I like that.
So yeah, no one can Jumanji it years later, open it up again and release them, right? Because it's out of print.
Ooh.
Of course they can't. I mean, that would... It's not like that happened in Jumanji. Wait a second. Well, it was a good plan.
Max, what's yours?
First.
Me go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Well, I was thinking about I remember when I was before I was a board game designer, I actually came to board game design from digital game design, and I was working at a company, and it was a great company. I'm still friends with a lot of people there. It was very formative, and we were asked to do a Barbie horseback riding game. And where Barbie rides her horses, like by all of her like unworthy friends who don't get a horse, and they just like get to wave at her, and she just and it was so strictly controlled. I said, if you make me do this Barbie game, I have to quit. And then I quit.
I love that your friends are deprived horses and they have to wave.
No, and they were
at
also
you as
like, you know, your token friends of color. It was just terrible in all ways. And
Hey, so I don't know if you're seeing what's happening in the chat, but Rachel played that game.
That's amazing. That's amazing, Mary.
The real Resonym origin story.
She's currently writing in all caps right now.
Well, I am that old, you know, like there are things that people, like I regularly, or like the Jumpstart games and stuff like that. Like a lot of times, like people don't realize I did that.
You have a distinguished career, Mary. When people tell me they played my stuff, I'm like, how the hell did you ever play any of my stuff? They're so random. Like I was
just showing your personality goes before you.
No, like, the Museum of the Moving Image commissioned me to make the Dark Crystal LARP, right, for the Dark Crystal Muppets TV show. And one of Jim Henson's granddaughters came up to me and said, "I really like your work." I'm like, how the hell does Jim Henson's granddaughter know any of my work? like what is this world I live in? So that was like cool.
It is the internet. It is the internet.
Right. Mary has a distinguished career. I can believe people say, "Oh yeah, I played Mary's games, of course."
Yeah, well, it's before the internet. Well, we did early internet games too, but so sometimes, really, I was making games when people weren't on the internet. I know it's like it's like weird. It's like a whole like a different planet happened or something. You know?
Yeah.
But it's interesting. But punishing someone, yeah, with the Barbie game, and we have a few games at Tilt Factor that I would say, except I don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. So there are one or two games, no present company excluded, but there are one or two games that were funded by outside groups, but sometimes they didn't hit the mark. And if I wanted to have somebody play a game kind of forever, I would just make it play.
Lol. I mean, I could see in a positive spin, it could be really funny to inflict someone in an endless series of awkward work moments.
So
right?
there's that's my answer. So I flipped through a couple of options. Like Mechanica, the robots are going to take over eventually, but that's not so bad. Mad Science Foundation constantly scrabbling for grants is bad, but lots of people do it. The real answer
is a fun world. This is
that's
good.
a great world to be in. That's on from the previous
too
question.
Fun. Yeah, that's too fun.
But my answer for I'd stick the thing that would be the biggest nightmare would be trapped in a series of awkward social moments.
Yeah, so awkward moment, absolutely.
Awkward moment.
But awkward moment at work, where we have awkward moments in workplace situations, which we don't even have right now, except now we have awkward Zoom moments, but there are fewer.
Or I could even for Tilt Factor stuff, I could even say, though technically it wasn't Tilt Factor, right? Layoff. Mary, was that technically a Tilt Factor game?
Oh, that would be a bad one to get stuck in.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Because you're just getting fired endlessly, right?
It was a Tilt Factor game. It was a Tilt Factor game.
Right, that would be a good one to inflict.
Right when I arrived at Dartmouth, that came out, yeah. Yeah. And then I got a call.
I saw the news clips and stuff talking about it, Mary.
Yeah, I got a little call. We made this little game about it during the bank bailout, so it was kind of like Bejeweled, but with people, like you match professions, and like there was a game designer in there actually. And they fall into this layoff pool, and it's showing like Goldman Sachs data about how much money people are making on the layoffs and the bank bailouts, and so it was like more of an op-ed kind of game. And I was called and said, you just don't say that, just don't mention, that your institution.
Okay.
I've taught with that game too, Mary, so.
Yeah.
Good. So that's it for chat's questions, but I was going to suggest maybe we do one from our canned questions to wrap us up.
Excellent.
Wow, there are so many of them.
We wrote a question.
Yes, we wrote a lot of questions that we didn't need because chat has lots of great things.
Also, we just talk a lot, the three of us, it turns out.
Oh yeah.
Yes, yeah.
We have chatty friends. Maybe we'll see a Gen Con, or maybe not. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I don't know what I'm playing.
How about this one? Because I like this one. What's something about the tabletop game industry that you wish more people knew?
Good question.
Industry, yeah.
Table, workings.
Yeah. I mean, a cop-out answer I keep having these is that game design is hard because a lot of people are like, oh, I'll make a board game, it's so easy, but I don't know, that's a cop-out question. So I've had students be like, wow, this was actually really hard. I'm like, really?
I love that look.
I'm like, I'm teaching a whole semester-long class on this and you thought it would be cakewalk? Seriously?
I think it's not just the amount of time, it's also the amount of work. Like, people ask, how long did it take for you to make this game? And it's tough to give a response in calendar years, because how often in that time were you working on it? Like, my calendar year time has shrunk, but that's because the number of times I playtest per week has expanded. So if we're talking a year, or like more likely a half a year to 2 years of twice a week playtests, we're talking 2 years is over 200 playtests. So and then in between the playtests, iterating.
Yeah.
That's not even getting into like all the other stuff you have to do when you design a game. And then people play it, and then they immediately dismiss it with like they spend like 0.05 seconds looking at a card, and then they immediately dismiss it, not seeing the work and the decisions, and not giving us the benefit of the doubt, which is understandable considering that there's zillions of games out there. We can no longer count on having the benefit of the doubt. But I do wish that people did understand that side of it, just the amount of labor that it takes to bring a game out.
Yeah.
Everyone here is probably going, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a couple. I don't know which one.
Oh, good. Share.
Hit us with
Share
both.
them all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just blurt them out.
I think the first
We love
one.
your blurts.
The first one kind of related to that, I think, which I've been trying to process, imbibe, absorb more, is I'm working my way through this book called The Artist's Way for unlocking creativity. And one of the big things there is action, just doing the stuff of it. So part of my thing is it is hard. You got to work really hard. There's a lot of games out there that aren't necessarily polished or efficient or elegant or whatever. But I think one of the biggest takeaways is just action, doing stuff. And I'm trying to get better at just making the game, even publishing the game, just starting to get more stuff out there. Because I think a lot of starting designers and sophomore designers, which is kind of where I am now, even more so, of just clinging on to this thing and in search of this perfection. And I think just looking at that, and the people who I admire the most, how do they get so many games out, And I think just letting go a little bit, and if you want to be in this industry and stay in this industry, is one thing, making your first game, getting your first thing published, but yeah, to stay and to survive in this, I think it's a little bit letting go of that perfection, and just being okay with experimenting and getting stuff out into the world.
That's a really hard thing to do.
Yeah.
I remember when I started my company, one person pulled me aside and said, make sure you have someone to tell you that this game is not ready and you can't publish it yet. And I told him, are you kidding? I need the opposite. I need someone to tell me this game is done. You don't need to do any more work on it. Push out, because otherwise I'll work on it forever.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say a politically charged answer, maybe in some sense, that you as a consumer are probably underpaying for the games, as in it takes a lot more effort, time, human labor, and things to make a game than the price of the game reflects. And this is especially true in the tabletop role-playing world.
Yes.
Tabletop role-playing game designers and possibly even in the mobile game world, it may be, right?
Yes.
I'm a little less knowledgeable about that, but tabletop role-playing game designers put a lot of person hours and a lot of thought, a lot of iteration to factor in all the illustration and typography and layout design and stuff that goes into one of those books, even if it's a small book. When people complain about, oh my god, the price is so high, you're probably still underpaying a ton for what you're getting. So not to say that you need to pay more now, you need to whatever, but you just need to be aware that when you complain that a game is too expensive, you're probably still underpaying for it.
That is an excellent answer. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Max, follow that up.
This is me. I have a really vapid answer, which is I love just how much hidden strange things go on behind the scenes that most board and tabletop game consumers don't know about. I was recently explaining this some Kickstarter stuff to a friend, and it was completely he was completely surprised by it, and which is strange because we kind of exist in it, and this is a thing I've known forever. Tuesdays is board game Kickstarter day. Everyone launches their board games on Tuesdays. And why is that? Well, that's because somebody did some initial, I think it was Jamie Stegmeyer or James Matthew on one of their blogs, did some initial analysis about which games are most successful, what days do they launch? And it was like there's a slight bias for Tuesdays, and so they posted that, and then everyone who reads that now posts on Tuesdays, which means that there's a correlation between starting on Tuesdays and reading the blogs, and reading the blogs. There's a correlation between reading the blogs and success. So there's a correlation between starting on Tuesdays and success. Not because Tuesdays are actually really any better, but just because if you do it means you kind of know what you're doing.
That's very funny.
There's a lot of conventional wisdom stuff like that in board games where somebody says something and it gets amplified through the grapevine, and because of that, it becomes true. And it takes a lot of work to defeat it. I remember for a long time, German companies and European companies would never print a science fiction game because science fiction board games did not sell. Like, that was the conventional wisdom. Then Race for the Galaxy came out, and that conventional wisdom went away. So it takes a lot of stuff like that to fight it.
Conventional wisdom about genres is so dumb all the time. Because there's always something that breaks the genre, and everyone's like, oh, this broke genre. Like, no, like you just have this stupid genre convention. Like, everyone knows now, like, movies with gay protagonists won't make money was a truism for like many years. That's dumb, obviously. Or movies with Asian protagonists won't sell. Genre conventions are just so dumb and they make me so angry. Sorry.
Yeah. Especially when they go on, Emma.
Exactly like you're saying. They usually intersect in some way with marginalization, and they're a way to like promote the dominant narrative, right?
Absolutely.
Police everybody out of a space. Yes.
Yeah. When they start mixing with racial perceptions, then things get really, really bad.
But they do. They already were, right?
Yeah.
Like genres already were loaded with race and
right.
sex
heck yeah.
and
like the romance genre is probably the most racialized and like focused on specific socioeconomic classes and things like that.
Yep.
Ever, right? Like for a long time, romance. Not saying that romance is a bad genre at all, but like romance genres would focus on, for a long time, a specific kind of person of a specific gender in a specific class, and let's look at their happy-go-lucky life, right?
Yep.
Or even if we look at the tragedy of it, right? But
yeah, we just had Mendez on our show, so and James Mendez Hodes, and it was just a phenomenal episode where we're talking about exactly this, racial assumptions that you make in games simply by importing sort of stock fantasy tropes. And of course, he's written a lot about orcs and what orcs actually represent, and it's just an amazing episode.
I don't know if I've ever mentioned this to you all, but I'm working on a book with Mikhail Jakobsen at MIT, and it's a book with MIT Press that we have in contract that's supposed to come out maybe next year, hopefully. On colonialism in board games, and it's unpacking the tropes, the mechanics of colonialism in board game, going back all the way to the origins of board games. And I think that would be it's a whole different conversation, but it is something that we have inherited as a set of tools that we use, right? Like just that kind of thing. If I were gonna ask about like if we're gonna mention like what do people not know, it would be that kind of stuff. But it would also be just simple things like, we just did this game Surrealist Dinner Party, and we have these games with real surrealists, like cards with real surrealists, Mina Loy and Joyce Mansour, who is an Egyptian British poet, or this is our illustrator Virginia Morey, who did her own card, right? And we have your Max Ernst, your Merritt Oppenheim, the Nardal sisters from Martinique, also part of this movement, Lola Alvarez Bravo. Every single one of these cards, we contacted the families and the estates and had to get permission to make this game. So it took 2 years to get the permission. It wasn't like you can just send out some emails, This was a 2-year set of negotiations, chasing family members down in other countries, writing in other languages, and so sometimes when, and it was my bad because I really wanted to make it about real surrealists because they're very interesting people and they were very forward thinking about how they saw, I think that their thinking is very related to our contemporary situation and the way they kind of saw beyond certain kinds of boundaries. And yeah, who would have thunk that it would take 2 years?
And I'm sure your hit rate wasn't 100%, right? There were some no's, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, there were very few no's compared to lots of people who just never got back to us.
Yeah, well,
Yep.
that's also just maybe their families. I mean, sometimes the family members are, aged, right? Sometimes the documentation, for example, Toyen, Toyen's estate is really scattered around and not very well documented, but it has been taken up by certain rights organizations. So then that actually wasn't so bad. Sun Ra's estate actually was really cool about being very, very inclusive in this situation. But I do we were in contact with Ted Jones' family members, so there were some really moving things about that research part of it all. But you buy the game, you don't buy the game. It's like that whole story is lost, right?
You look at the game and you would not
just
expect
one-
it took that.
Yeah, that was just my, I don't know. I just really wanted real surrealists. We didn't. We could have.
But I think it was worth it in the end. So we're closing in on the end of the stream. So I wanted to give everyone a chance to plug something that they're working on or that they've worked on, something cool and places people can check that out.
So someone else start first. Who goes first?
Even if it's your playtest group and you want some people to show up.
Yeah.
I mean, we can do the easy one, which is check out Ghostwriter by Resonym, me and Mary, and it's on Kickstarter at playghostwriter.com for the next 9 days. To back it, it's just about funded, but you can help us get there and hopefully hit some stretch goals.
And it's fun.
I was just answering your question on the stream, on the chat, but I'll go first. You can find me on Twitter at Gil Hova. You can find my games at formalferretgames.com. There are links in the chat for that. I'm on Facebook as Formal Ferret Games. You can find M and I on Ludology. Ludology Pod is our Twitter, and ludology.net is our website.
And you can listen to Mary and me on Ludology. Ooh.
Yes.
And Mikhail also was on Ludology at one point. That was before Emma, talking about colonialism. Was a question also current projects we're working on and things?
Anything you want to plug?
Yes, we know you can't talk about many of them, Gil.
There's a lot I can't talk about. I wish. But Rival Networks is actually going to be in stores in May. So that's going to be really close. High Rise, the Ultra Plastic Edition, is on pre-order now. That's also available on the website. Wordsy and the Networks are available in stores. And Weird Stories will hopefully be coming out later this year. I'd love to hit a Halloween release date. We'll see.
Excellent.
So I am sorry.
Go ahead.
I am Sharang Biswas. You can find me on Twitter at Sharang Biswas. Or you can look at my itch.io page, which is astrolingus.itch.io. Not all my games are there because some of them are, owned by other people. And what am I working on? So watch out for Avatar: The Last Airbender RPG from Magpie Games. I'm working on that. There should be a playtest edition coming out at some point soon. I don't know how soon, but some point in this calendar year. What else? I have a short story coming out in Lightspeed magazine. Check that out. I just joined Science Fiction Writers of America. I'm so proud of myself. I don't have a name for it yet, but I do a lot of food games. I'm making a game that's a role-playing storytelling game that is audio-based, where you're going to listen to stories while snacking on a charcuterie plate and telling stories. It's like a romance game about alchemically building a boyfriend. I'm going to probably kickstart that in mid to late May, so check that out. There'll be news on that on my Twitter and on my HIO, so if you want to play solo games and gobble lots of tasty food on your own and think about boyfriends, check it out.
Nice. Emma Larkins, pretty much everywhere: Twitter, website, Instagram. I'm working on a playful experiences based around tea. I was going to do it during Zine Quest, but I'm not sure if I want to call it a zine or not, but it's basically like game adjacent play. You're drinking tea, kind of starting to formulate that and have it in a little book form. So I'm excited about that. And I want to brag a little bit because the news just came out today. Abandoned All Artichokes won the American Tabletop Awards.
Congratulations!
So
Wow.
yeah, Artichokes is the main thing that I'm promoting now. So I'm still enjoying that and still excited about where it's going. It's in lots of languages now. So if you're Japanese, German, Dutch, a few other things as well. So language versions. It's exciting to see.
Yay! Super. Super.
Oh,
Sharang,
can I do one more thing? I promised the museum I would say one more thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm running a series of indie role-playing games at the Museum of the Moving Image, all online. We're trying to
that's great.
showcase. Yeah, we're trying to showcase a lot of indie designers and designers of traditionally marginalized identities. That's my buzzword. So do check that out. Sign up for games. That supports, an art institution. It also supports indie game designers.
It's fantastic.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. Sharang, I wanted to just mention, have you read Marge Piercy's He, She, It? It's about making an AI golem boyfriend. You have to read it.
Okay, I will absolutely look into that. Thank you, Mary.
And and of course we have a Kickstarter right now. We're really happy to have our guests here and our friends, and we can't wait to see them in person. We can't wait to talk to you again. It was so lovely to play with you and play this game digitally with you during our Kickstarter. So thank you all for agreeing to come.
It was such a blast. Thank you so much.
Thank
Yeah,
you
thank
for
you.
having us.
Thank you,
Thanks
guys.
for sharing your wisdom.
Wisdom.
Wisdom. Yeah.
Not putting the potato or the tomato in the.
Very nice. Awesome.
Different kind of wisdom.
Thanks.
We got different wisdom.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah,
All right,
thank
good night,
you.
Everybody. Ciao. Good night, everybody.